globe. The tour would eventually gross in excess of $30 million, despite costing over $100,000 a day to run, and being so large that their gigs had to be staged outdoors and at the mercy of the elements. With such intensive gigging, it seemed only appropriate that a live album materialise at some stage. And A Delicate Sound of Thunder duly appeared in November of 1988 as a double CD, covering songs taken in the most part from the Nassau Coliseum in New York. The bulk of side one consisted of live versions of A Momentary Lapse of Reason, while the second comprised of a run-through of their greatest hits. Their incredible world tour culminated in June of 1990, when our intrepid threesome headlined a prestigious charity concert at Nebworth in England, in front of an astonishing 125,000 fans, making it the biggest concert ever since Band Aid. Not to be upstaged, though, a month later Roger Waters performed The Wall in its entirety in Berlin to aid the Memorial Fund for Disaster Relief. It is easy to see how Waters would be attracted to such a project. Although his wall had been a mental one, the Berlin Wall that has starkly separated East from West was very much an abhorrent physical one. In July of 1990, 200,000 people squeezed into the Potsdamer Platz and roared their approval as Waters put on a spectacular show that included Van Morrison, Bryan Adams, Joni Mitchell, a 100-piece orchestra, a Russian marching band, and of course a wall that spread across the stage and comprised of 2,500 bricks and was a staggering 80 feet high. The show culminated with Waters' wall crashing down amid wild scenes from the assembled crowd. Quite simply, whatever you can do, I can do better. In 1992, Roger Waters released his third solo album, Amused to Death, but again it was modestly received. Even by his own admission, if it had carried the Pink Floyd moniker, it would have been a resounding success. Although the album featured Jeff Beck on guitar and a group of songs that sounded very much like the Pink Floyd of old in their composition, the 20th anniversary of Dark Side of the Moon was hovering ominously around the corner, and to Waters' dismay he found himself competing with the past all over again. If Pink Floyd's previous world tour had thrown up some incredible numbers, the 1994 tour that started on the same day as the new album, The Division Bell, was released, would rewrite the record books all over again. The 200-strong crew that accompanied the band would eventually assemble their remarkable stage show in 77 cities during 110 concerts that would again be seen by over 5.5 million fans, grossing an astonishing $250 million. The album, released on March 30th, 1994, topped both the UK and the US charts, selling over 6 million copies, and was enthusiastically received by both critics and fans alike. The album produced two singles. First came Take It Back, followed by High Hopes, which was co-written with Dave Gilmour by his wife, Polly Sampson, a former journalist. In fact, this unusual songwriting duo accounted for 6 of the album's tracks. As with their lengthy tour of the late 80s, once again they could not resist releasing a double live CD entitled Pulse, which came out at the latter end of 1995. Pulse contained another trip down memory lane, with live renditions of everything from 1967's Astronomie de Mine right up to tracks taken from The Division Bell. Let's have the final thoughts of Glenn Povey and Richard Allen.
Particularly in the 80s,